everyone, my name is Thami Dish. Over the years, you guys have probably interacted with me on my Instagram account, Facebook account, in my kitchen, talking to some of my great humans who I call my friends, who've influenced me in many ways. So you guys have asked me for a very long time, when am I gonna have a show? What am I making in the kitchen? And I've been making many dishes for you guys, but I've decided that this time around, let me prepare a dish with some of my greatest humans who have influenced me in many ways that I think you guys could benefit from this special kitchen of mine. So welcome to A Dish with Zoe Modiga, serving you passion on another level. The interesting thing with Zoe being in my kitchen today is that she's been here before and she goes through like changes all the time, and it's exactly how her and I have our conversations. So I just thought, let me prepare something different for her, and today I'm making a special dish. This is the spinach cauliflower noodles that I've got here, with some olives, a bit of lemon, a touch of basil, pesto, and some sun-dried sun-dried tomato paste. And then I called her, I was like, babe, you know, people become like vegetarian, but do you take feta? Do you take eggs? Because other people don't do that. They do like, you know, extra of vegetarian. They go vegan. No eggs, no dairy, no nothing, no this, no that, no that. She said, no, I'm totally cool with that. So I added on a little bit of some fish. So she's got a salmon fish steak here that I'm going to put some salt and pepper on it, and just like kind of like, they call it seared salmon. You know, those people that speak the Mamelodi. You just fry the salmon, you know, and make it tasty because the flavor is in everything we're doing here. So welcome to A Dish with Zoe Modiga.
She's at the door.
And she's at the door. Having the best day of my life. Oh my God, welcome. I mean, I should be twerking for
Please
this
twerk,
part.
twerk for me, twerk for me.
I should be like,
for me.
hey, hey, hey. I'm like, oh my God. Now, we've had so many moments of talking and talking and talking. We get to make you a dish.
Oh man, I'm ready. I'm ready to have this dish.
There's so much that I've learned from just conversing with you, and now I've got to have this conversation and take it to the next level.
Let's do that. I'm excited.
I've got a drink.
Sure.
I've got rum. You know, I've got a bit of rum
Yes,
in here.
absolutely.
Can I offer you? So, I mean, you've gone vegan, so I'm not too sure.
Vegetarian.
Oh, vegetarian.
Semi-vegetarian.
Check.
When I decide.
When you decide.
Yes.
As and when it feels right to you.
Absolutely.
So what do you want? Can I offer you something to drink? I've got wine, I've got gin, I've got water and lemon.
Give me that water and that lemon.
I've waited for so long to have this conversation with you. And I think for a very long time, we've been talking about moments of us having met each other.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I keep saying to my friends who are behind the cameras that, you know how many times I met Zoe? Do you know how many times? Do you remember how many times I met you?
It's just that Kai FM incident. But how many more times have we actually met each other?
I was listening to Kaya, and I heard an interview. Well, the song first, and then I asked, "Who's the song?" And I shazammed it, and then it said Zoe, and it was "Love Your Way."
Yes.
And then
the first single.
Absolutely.
The first.
And I was like, I'm shazamming this, and then you went on Bridget's show. I used to produce a show when she was still at the other station, YFM. So I literally was WhatsApping her as you were on the show, and she was asking you these questions, but I was so intrigued. I had fallen in love with Love Your Way. I want to take you back there, but also I want you to take me through the journey of how you created Yellow, what influenced it, where you came from as a kid, where you've been here in Johannesburg. It's a lot. It's layered. So let's start with Hope. I mean, no, yeah, okay, that's that voice. No, you know, the thing is, it's different because I'm having this chat with you, but yeah.
My story begins in Pietermaritzburg, KwaZulu-Natal. Just being raised by the grandmother and the grandfather and pretty much the whole community, because that's what township lifestyle is. You're raised by the people around you, you know? And I just think when it comes to the music thing, it was just always ngama back door, you're listening to Ikwatoka Sbanbani. Front opposite, you're listening to someone playing some gospel music. There was just always these interesting influences and experiences that people created with music. And I just loved how it impacted them. I loved what music did to people. I loved that it reminds me of all these different characters that raised me, you know? So I would say that's like the beginning of the music thing.
You grew up in Pietermaritzburg. And for me, like, that was always the question I had. I was like, why does this girl have a surname like Modiga, and she's Zulu?
That's always an interesting one, actually, because Kwa Modiga, it's actually peeps from Pretoria.
Right.
But my grandfather had to migrate. Hi, how you doing? But my grandfather had to migrate to Pietermaritzburg and start a life for himself, you know. So that's how. No, keep going.
Oh, you're sweet like that?
I'm sweet. I'm sweet. I think that should be fine.
You want some cayenne pepper?
Please put. Just put in.
So grandfather, yes.
You know, so that's how the Modigas, the Zulu Modigas, were kind of formed. And I think every time we even meet up, because a lot of us live in Johannesburg right now or around the area, it's always just like the Tswana speaking Modigas and the Zulu speaking Modigas, which is freaking fascinating.
Right. So I mean, like, for years I've been like, this girl, and you and I went to State Theatre together to have a meeting on a show that you wanted to put there, and you've been wanting to, you know, put on a show for people in Pretoria. And I think now that you say this, I'm tracing the origins of it. But let me tell you, I also remember a time, you spoke about like KFM, I remember a time where I followed you to the Joy of Jazz. And yes, I remember a moment where I literally almost cried. This is me meeting you. This entire time is about like how many times we've met. I literally almost cried because I was in the auditorium and watching you perform to a full room. And there was a moment where you jumped off stage and you started running.
Yes! Yes!
I was like,
yes! You know what it was? I think it's the whole idea I have around opportunity. When opportunity is presented, I always want to put my best foot forward. And at that time, actually, we had just finished doing the whole set, you know, nice times, delicious times. And one of the people who was saying, hey guys, time is up, was kind of saying, hey man, Zoe, it's time to, you know, cut to the last song. And I was like, I'm going to cut like it has never been cut before in the space, you know. And I was very honored to be there. I think the lineup was so amazing. I mean, Ubab Salif Keita was performing right after me.
Yeah.
You know, so I was just honored by that moment, and I just wanted to just run into the space and give energy to everyone that was there.
Let me tell you.
I'm not alone. Alone's not my home. This is the
Why? Why alone? What space were you in? Because I can tell you what space I was in, but what space were you in? Because we met there again.
Sure. I think Alone is such an important song that kind of documents what life has looked like for me, you know. from as young as I can possibly remember, the idea of what being human is and what being happy is was always such a weird theme for me, you know. I was always reserved, I always kept to myself, but I always had this feeling of just feeling like sadness or a dark cloud was following me from very early on, and I used to struggle with what that was. But at the same time, I was one person that enjoyed my own space. So I suppose that song is like that conversation that a lot of us have with ourselves, of being okay with having our space to ourselves, but also not feeling lonely from that, you know, and not feeling alone even in situations and circumstances that we go through. So that's what it is, just acknowledging me enjoying that solitude, enjoying that space, enjoying that time, but not finding it as a thing that isolates me from the rest of the world and the experience of being human, you know, and all that it comes with.
You want to talk to me about why and how you were raised by your grandmother and grandfather? I mean, I was raised by my grandmother and grandfather because my mom fell pregnant and then she was 21 and she gave birth to me, and my aunt and my grandparents decided that she must go back to school. So what's your story?
My story is that I had two beautiful, or still have a mother, but I have two beautiful parents who made me out of love, but they were in a position where they needed to provide and to work for the rest of us, you know? So a lot of it just involved me having to be raised by my grandmother and my grandfather. And when I tell you the amount of love, just in the simplicity of that, was so beautiful. I always explain to people that my first idea of love came from my grandparents. None of them ever said, I love you, Gatanda. But when I have a reference of the idea of love, it always goes back to them, because I felt it so potently there, you know.
And you saw it.
And I saw it, I felt it. It was obviously there. It was omnipresent.
I then met you again when you came over to the house for the first time, and I said, yo, you know, I do this thing and it's my passion project. It's called the Feather Awards, and I want you to do something special and to do a whole layer of things. You came over and we sat here with Baby Joe and Boyti.
Yes.
And you spoke about, in fact, even before then, do you know where I met you?
Where?
I sat here and we had lots of drinks, and then we decided we were gonna come. You guys were doing a tribute to Busim Mhlongo at the Orbit, and I was with Thandi.
Oh, come through. Come through. Come through with that. That was such a magic. You know what's so funny about even just my journey, no Busim Mhlongo, is that I was not familiar with her music. I was not raised by her music.
Right.
But there was a whole idea to celebrate the impact, the cultural icon that she is.
Right.
You know, and myself, Titi Luzipo, and Spam Dalose came together. When I tell you her discography is so challenging to break apart and to learn. But we did that, and we just we're going through the set in a space called the Orbit that unfortunately doesn't exist anymore. But like we performed, yo, Nangu King Ta. I'm just like,
literally, we came there and we're like, okay, you know, and she's like, you know, they're going up, so we're performing summer.
Yeah.
And we left and we went there. And then can I tell you what happened? You guys were singing and you saw King Ta and you kept your cool and you were doing what you were there for.
Yeah, professionalism.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know what she said?
What?
She said, I'm gonna hop on stage for them. Because Bando was there and the other people, and she said, I'm gonna hop on stage for them because I need my sisters to know that I see them and I hear them. And then she hopped on stage.
Yes.
Give us a bit of that moment. Can you sing something?
I wasn't gonna ask. But
Oh,
do you remember that moment?
I do.
In fact, take us to a song there.
Yazi, there's this song that I really enjoy, Egamambusi, called Yehlisani Umoya Bantu Bakithi. And it's a song that really just goes into the whole idea of let's all come, you know, let's just all calm down.
Yeah.
You know, we're putting our space, we're putting each other through so many violences as a people, you know. So I really enjoy that song. And it's him. Yehlisani Umoya Bantu Bakithi. Besethi. Wogagade madoda. Sibulalana sodwa. We were bringing spirits kamambusi into the space, so everyone was involved in that moment. And when King Ta came into that, it was just such a solidifying moment as well.
Right.
And after that, I learned that she used to actually sit at Mambusi Mhlongo's feet and would have so many conversations with her. So it created such a beautiful circle, even in that, to be acknowledged by someone who we've acknowledged and seen in our lives, who just made space for us as well, you know.
Then you went to New York. I got a call, let me tell you.
You know this one deserves the claps once.
No, yeah.
This moment deserves the claps once.
Do you know that I knew about you and when I knew about you? I was here in my bed. It was probably 4 in the morning or 3 in the morning, and Yolanda called me with Somi. And they
Guys,
said,
Thami is so crazy. Where is the camera? He is insane, okay?
yes. So, and they said, we're doing this thing at Museum Africa, and we want to do this, and want to bring somebody. What do you think? I said, let's go.
I'm hopping on the next plane. And I actually thought he was kidding until I saw you at the Salon Africana that evening.
Do you know that I hopped onto a plane, and I might have thought of other things I could do there, but I specifically hopped on that plane because of you.
That meant something different because the space is such a magical space, but to see someone that you know and someone who knows you in that different context, because it's always been in this kitchen, it's always been in spaces that you've created for people, it's always been in spaces that we've been a part of, but to be out of those contexts of home and to be in a different home and to see you there was
I had to.
A world of its own.
I had to because I felt like I was a part of the initial conversation and where it was and I wanted to see it through. Tell me about that night there and that experience.
And that performance was otherworldly. I feel like New York felt like a different kind of home.
Right.
For me, it was so special to see so many brown bodies outside of a country because a lot of my touring was happening in Europe. So
European countries,
in European countries. So being able to be out of home in New York, in Harlem, but it felt like home, and just seeing so many brown bodies, so many beautiful people, and experiencing it and experiencing what that is. You know, it's a beautiful place. I think second to Nigeria, New York is like home as well. It feels like home.
So now I have an idea, right, around like what influenced Yellow, and then I phoned you the one time, and you had released in Goma and said, babe, where are we? We are moving.
We are.
You know, and you would change your color, it wasn't yellow anymore. And then I think I saw a little bit of orange somewhere, and then I was like, okay, you're like, no, please, don't limit me to color. I'm evolving.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
And then now I see cows and white. And then they think and I'm like, yo, where are we now?
Well, where? What's happening with these cows? Yazi, I think I'm going to really enjoy telling the story of the significance of cows. When I came to Yellow the novel, the emblem was yellow because it was my favorite color. And we were going to my personal world. It was an introduction.
Right.
And when we finished this album, I was looking at what the next emblem would be. And I felt color would be so obvious because I've had to do that for about 3 years now. You know, we get it. It's yellow. And as you can see, it's still my favorite color. That won't change, you know? But I took it back with this album. I took it all the way back to the very beginning. And I find that a lot of truths that we experience as people involve us actually looking back. A lot of it is not external. It's conversations we look back at, you know? And part of looking back just reminded me of this endearing experience I used to have with my paternal grandmother, where I used to visit her, Emakaya, and she would have like these cows, you know, grazing and chewing the cud and everything. And I would just stare at them and just stare at them. And she used to look at me like, hey, this person something is not okay there, you know? But it speaks to just this connection with the animal, knowing, or not knowing rather, that years later I would begin to understand it differently, you know? And I remember we were doing a project with Clive, actually.
Right.
And it was for some film awards, and there was a collaboration that was had that included poetry and choreography. And I was explaining to the beloved people during rehearsals that, oh my word, this is the exact space that I'm in right now.
Right.
And as we were decoding that, it added to the value of why I appreciated cows. For food, for clothing, cultural significance, spiritual practices, dowry, the idea of land and the significance of that, you know? So that's how the cow thing came about, you know?
I want to continue making my meal and peeling my eggs and all of those things.
Okay.
But I've created a little set for you there. So that we can actually go down this journey and allow other people to experience everything else that you've been talking about, because I think that there's something that happens even beyond the conversation. It's the conversation vocally and how you say it and how you sing it and all those emotions. I experience you every other day, and I'm sad that we didn't have our show at the State Theatre for all Praetorians because now COVID, yeah?
Hey,
Right?
my baby, my
But now,
darling.
I don't make
She
the
did
matter.
that.
I make the matter. I make stage here. Make me they give the people.
Sure thing.
Eh? Make you they go now.
All right.
You want some more? You want I boil more water?
I'm okay, my standard.
That one, she's good.
She's good.
Going then. Let me prepare my
you.
meal, and then I see you shortly.
Sure thing.
All right, my sweet.
The first song that I would love to perform and start the set off with is called Umdali. Umdali is a song that talks about us being a people that are made by a higher being and having to engage and fall in love with ourselves through the messaging from the people that come before us, grabbing that baton and those stories of old to bring them into our purposes today. So that is Umdali. Enjoy.
Wadala umdali, wadala abantu, ebadala ngemicabango yakhe. Wanelege moyeni, wabanika ithemba lakuwe. likhona ithemba ukuthi amaphupho abo azofezeka. Njengoba kusho umdali, wadala umdali, wadala abantu, ebadala ngemicabango yakhe, waneleke emoyeni, ebafanisa naye, wabanika ithemba lakudala. Uma singazizifiso ezabaphambili, amaphupho akudala sizowafeza kanjani na? Bayasidinga, basicelile, bayasidinga, basicelile, likhona ithemba ukuthi amaphupho abo azofezeka. Njengoba kusho umdali, njengoba kusho umdali, njengoba kusho umdali, njengoba kusho umdali, njengoba kusho umdali.
Thank you.
Inhlupheko iyadabukisa, ayizifanele njengabantu abamnyama, noma sikulesimo thina akusho ukuthi kumele siphile kanjena. Kuzojika izinto, jika izinto, jika izinto, kuzojika izinto, jika izinto, jika izinto. kuyadabukisa akusifanele njengabantu abamnyama noma siwuthanda ngokuba thina akusho ukuthi kumele siphile kanjena kuzoshikizino shikizino shikizino kuzoshikizino shikizino shikizino sinamacala bantu abamnyama asikholwa bantu abamnyama sikhethiwe bantu abamnyama masakhane sizobona sojikizinto ukubulalana kuyadabukisa akusifanele njengabantu abamnyama noma sinawo lokhuba thina akusho ukuthi kumele siphile kanjena kuzoshikizino shikizino shikizino kuzoshikizino shikizino shikizino sinamacala bantu abamnyama asikholwa bantu abamnyama sikhethiwe bantu abamnyama masakhane 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 sizobona sojikizinto sinamacala bantu abamnyama asikholwa bantu abamnyama sikhethiwe bantu abamnyama masakhaneni masakhaneni sizobona sojikizinto.
My God, I know you are already wanting to, it's cold, I know?
No, yes.
No, it's cold, but let me tell you. If we must make this change, what does it take?
You know, when I think about our people being abantu being black people, it always draws me to just the traumas of our experiences, you know. And I think I ran into this idea of black people carrying traumas from the past, and the fact that we're here in the present moment, it's in our blood, you know, as much as our joys and our flavors and the beautiful things that we contribute to the world are in our blood, those traumas and those tears are in our blood as well, you know. And I think so many systems have been put in place to put us in a space where we forget who we are and we forget to function in who we are. And according to me, who we are is really the highest version of ourselves because we were created by something that is big.
You write music in our language. Like I'm looking at the 2 albums.
It's important for me to speak in this language. And I know that Black people are going to understand it. I've had conversations with people who are not Zulu speaking, people who are not even from the continent necessarily, who ask me what certain words in the album mean. And they say, I don't understand what you're saying, but I can feel it. I can feel it.
I feel like feeding you while you get ready. I feel like feeding
Dish
you.
something for me.
I'm gonna dish something for you. Oh my God. God, I can't believe we finally come to that. And I got you a drink. I'll suppose.
Hey, so it's easy.
So now you like cranberrying it.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, and having. So I'm gonna do. I don't know. In cultured places they put a coaster.
Oh, there we go.
And then I serve you.
Thank you.
I was trying to create a little heart there for you.
Thank you.
These
These fumes, as I was busy singing Lengoma, these fumes were just
Let me tell you. Is that
giving me life.
Were you smelling it?
I was.
You were like,
and I was
"Yo,
like,
yo.
izophila le ngoma. This song will come alive.
Bese sila.
Ooh.
Bese sila.
So
Here you
gorgeous.
go,
Thank you so
grab
much.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you, my baby. Thank you for responding to the invitation to participate. There's some salt and pepper.
Sure thing.
And some chili because, you know, we're spicy like that.
Sure thing.
Right?
I think I'll just put this guy here.
Yeah. Sometimes okay,
It's just like fork it.
Yeah, fork it.
Fork it.
Fork it and eat the dish. I always put chili in my food. Okay, I have a little thing that I do. And I ask people about, I throw in a couple of names of people and who they mean to them.
Sure.
And then you tell me and you sing a little tune to it.
Okay.
Miriam Makeba?
Igqirha lendlela. It's the first thing I think of. And that leopard print dress.
Brenda Fassie?
Yo, indaba yakistre. Oh. Can I tell you a funny story actually about Brenda? Umam or sis Brr. I actually did a performance, a tribute thing in high school where I was acting as Uma Brr. And one time, I think it was Weekend Special. So, you know, obviously the stage possess or papa, the whole thing. And then there was a point where I was doing that kick. I was like kick le. Ile pezu. And then I was wearing like these black shoes and it flew to the back of the hall. And I was like, wow, guys.
How hard did you kick, sister?
I kicked
You kicked
higher,
hard.
the highest
I
height.
think that was the moment when you were kicking yourself into this space.
Oh, come
That was the
on.
moment.
Come on.
You just didn't recognize it.
Oh,
Yourself.
it was an entrance.
You were like, I'm kicking these doors. That girl kicked every door and she made us appreciate just how expressive she can be and fluid she could be. The last thing that I kept of me meeting you, you were on The Voice.
Huh? We met around The Voice.
Yeah, you sang, I think was it Diamond?
Okay.
I met you on TV, girl.
Okay. Shine bright.
I saw this girl and I was like, what? And I remember thinking, this is a tribute to all the trans women who are out there. And I traced you and you couldn't perform because you were still in the competition.
Wait. My world literally just went because I'm like, oh my word, I actually remember a conversation like that. But there was contractual things, reality TV things. Oh my goodness. We've actually met, you're right, we've met a few times. We've actually met a few times.
I've chased your voice.
There's a poetry in that. That's beautiful. This is dope. Your hands are blessed. Your heart is also blessed. Thank you for this.
Thank you, Valentino, but also thank you to you for watching A Dish with Zoe Modiga. And I hope that you guys have learned in as much as I did today about her journey, just how she can raise the most crucial and the most, topical issues and bring them into song for our people to reflect and for them to be able to see themselves and appreciate themselves wholeheartedly and fully. I have appreciated myself tonight. And I've appreciated Zoe tonight. And I appreciate you. Thank you for watching A Dish with Zoe.